HRIS and to quickly expose employees to their HR data that means the most to them. There's a lot of configuration available with this. There's a lot of customization available with this. We'll go through all those details in a few seconds here. But the idea is this is a tool that we can provide to any customer either that has already deployed Viva Connections or is in the process of deploying Viva Connections that will allow for them to easily connect any type of a backend system with this type of data to their employees for easy consumption. You see right here, for example, I have a quick view of what Krios looks like inside of a web-based Viva Connections dashboard interface. This is, of course, using the SharePoint Framework adaptive card strategy. If we go on to the next screen here, you see we do get the ability to have flyouts where we can, of course, provide additional information to employees. All of this, of course, customizable, as we'll see in a second or two here. This tool is available to anywhere Viva Connections is available for customers. So, of course, what that means is on mobile, Android, iOS devices, Windows, Safari, browser controls, of course, for Teams, been tested across the board there. And even better, of course, this is going to allow for us to leverage both customers' investment and Azure Active Directory for data and security, both not only to the Viva Connections and Microsoft Teams infrastructure, but also to the underlying data that is presented within here as well. Krios is customizable to meet customer-specific branding requirements. I'm going to switch out of PowerPoint mode here briefly, and we'll actually show what this looks like in a demonstration environment here briefly. Give Teams a second to decide that I am sharing my screen now. There we go. So I am, of course, on a Viva Connections dashboard editing interface right now. You see I've got my standard adaptive cards, some custom-built ones out here as well. We then, of course, have our Krios card that we've added to here just simply by the standard add interface. And inside of here, I then, of course, have the ability to go through and fully customize this card to my organization's requirements. I can choose from the standard card sizes. We by no means require customers to brand this as KiZan Krios to their end users. We could very easily rebrand this as Contoso HR Connect, allow for them to replace logos or even upload personal logos with this, enabling organizations to, of course, make this more personal. And then, of course, we also have the ability to customize exactly the information that we're showing to our users. In this case, we're configured for work anniversary as our primary field with birthday and PTO balance as tertiary and secondary. We can, of course, easily flip that over to, for example, payroll dates, PTO balance, what have you. We also do get the ability to modify our messaging within all of these cards. Some organizations might opt to, for example, not show certain pieces of data that they might not have prepared for us to be able to show. So we could absolutely choose, for example, to just go ahead and hide birthday information altogether, hide payroll information altogether. And then we also do allow for organizations to also customize both what they call it, not everyone would call it PTO balance, for example, but also to customize the messages that we show employees when they're interacting with the card. So we can actually apply some personalization here, right? Where you see, for example, hey, it looks like you got a lot of PTO, time to go ahead and book that vacation, you've earned it. We can, of course, then choose customizations for those thresholds. Of course, this being backed by Viva Connections does mean that we have audience targeting available within it. What that means is we can very easily target this towards a smaller subset of users than perhaps the whole organization, should that be the path someone wants to go down, try before you buy type of idea. And of course, it also lets us craft our card content to applicable user audiences. So for example, should there be a employee base that doesn't accrue PTO, we don't have to, of course, show them a big 0 on their PTO card. We could have an interns card that's targeted towards non-full-time employees that doesn't show PTO, but instead it shows the other pertinent information such as payroll date and work anniversary. Of course, we can also choose to target this towards user segments that perhaps may or may not be beholden to GDPR concerns or what have you. Of course, it's Viva Connections. Audience targeting is very important to us. The good news is, of course, we have the ability to provide that content to our users in both desktop and, of course, in mobile mode.